studio tour.
Although it's actually 4 rooms. Office, print studio, loft, workshop. I'll start in the office because that's where I am right now. I don't do a lot of drawing by hand, but I do have this small pile of sketchbooks behind me to note down ideas. I'd love to pretend the pages inside look like this, but this is the reality. As long as there's enough to remember the original spark of an idea, that's enough for me. This became this. This became that. And this became this. The computer is where things really begin, and everything is done with a mouse and this 20-year-old keyboard. Then Mrs. Panel's computer is just beside me. We're still very much together, but she's doing her own thing now, sculpting full-time. It's incredible. I'll let you know where to find her when she lets me. So, Panel is just me again. Anyway, there's a pen pot nearby filled with pens. Here's my trusty blade, which my mum bought for me when I was 14. Very much used for stencil cutting and not stabbing. Oh, nearby you can see today's post-it note. Anything that doesn't get done today gets rolled over to tomorrow. Elsewhere in here, there's plenty of swatch books in here, and even this DIY swatch set I spent a day making. But I still just end up choosing colours in person. Spare cutting blades, a sharps box of course, this embossing cliche for screen prints. When I first got it I was stamping everything I could. Post-it notes, aluminium foil, toilet paper. You've got a tape drawer here, the masking tape, packing tape, measuring tape, a tape that says "Sorry about all this," made by David Strigley. Then there's drawers filled with postage labels, tissue paper, acetate sheets for stencils. This one's for extras that go in or on packed orders. This one's filled with random stickers and street install stuff. And then camera gear, millions of attachments. On top, this trusty laser printer pumps out the stencils with a selection of cutting mats just here. And handy rulers that hang from tiny nails, which I'm scared I'll somehow fall onto one day. Anyway, on to the print studio. This space actually serves 2 purposes: screen printing and photographing. So this is the screen printing table. Screens are clamped in here, and these tiny holes in the tabletop hold the paper in place when the vacuum is turned on, which is just connected to the side of the table here. A proper print bench can cost 3k easily and does a little bit more, but I made this for about £200, most of which was spent on this thick polypropylene top. And then the whole thing is sat on some massive print drawers. They were kindly given to me by Snig. They're still going strong, guys, so thank you for these, because they store a shit ton of stuff. Fat stacks of blank paper, woodblock print tests, old prints, current prints, future prints. Quick side story about this print. It's actually a secret print. We were printing this mural in Bristol as part of Upfest, and one of the windows was like a spam pop-up with this long-winded web address on it. Well, if you actually went to the address, you got this free print. I think maybe 7 people noticed in an entire year before it was all painted over. To be fair, it does look like a sketchy link. What else we got? So the screens themselves are kept here, they're big boys. Then another vital bit of equipment is this print rack. We've got it second hand from a balloon printing factory. You stick the wet prints on it so that they can dry before you stack them back up on top of each other. And this table is where the paper sits before being printed. So you have this nice triangle of grab paper, print the layer, place it to dry, over and over and over and over and over again. It's very much easy to feel like a robot in these moments. Then you have all the ink and pots here, and a selection of squeegees depending on how big the design is. And then there's a tripod, some light stands here, because both of these tables are perfect for photographing finished pieces. You may have noticed this LED light already, and if you look really close you can see the first set of holes I drilled where the mount fell off the wall because I used screws that weren't strong enough, and that happened in the middle of the night and scared the shit out of me. Anyway, having a constant, consistent light source makes photographing or filming things so much easier than relying on the so-called English sun. Then, this wall-mounted arm makes shooting things from above a lot easier. Or getting in close. There's an MDF sheet here, sprayed grey, ideal as a backdrop, and there's a rolled plastic sheet here, perfect for seamless curved backdrops. I'm not going to get it out because it's an absolute pain to roll up and get back into the tube. Or there's coloured sheets for a different flavour. Now, I mentioned the loft earlier, but quite frankly, it's a mess up there. Total anarchy, a bomb site of cardboard boxes, packaging foam, postal tubes, and paintings. So, let's move on to the last area. This is my favourite space. I think it's because it's where ideas become real. It's a compact and efficient space made for both woodwork and painting. This here is a CNC machine, which stands for Computer Numerical Control. Basically, you can hook up a computer to it and cut very precise shapes via the router that's fixed into it here. Before this, I did cut a few things with a handheld jigsaw, but the CNC means I can make things that slot into each other perfectly, or make a lot of copies. It does still require a lot of expertise, learning its idiosyncrasies and understanding the properties of materials. It's not the magic button I thought it'd be when I first got it. But yeah, it obviously generates a lot of dust when it's cutting. So this dust chute, connected through a long hose to the shop vac, helps to capture a lot of that. I even made a little port so the exhaust vents outside. Sawdust can still get about though, so I'll wear this bad boy. The added benefit of this full face respirator is the camera mount I fixed to the front of it, which captures my point of view when I'm working. Perfect for all the videos I film. I can even see the screen on the back when I'm wearing it to check I'm actually recording and that everything important is within shot. And of course this thing protects me when I'm spray painting. Every unique colour I've got is in this paint rack, and I tried to maintain the loose appearance of order. Although this bit down here is a bit of a weird gathering of fluorescents, translucents, metallics, adhesives and other stuff. Then spare colours can be found in this thing, both sides, and the top doubles as a worktop, which is good because then I can walk around it, spin it, all that. What else? There's clamps everywhere. Up here, always in reach, more there, long ones here, shit tons in here, and even little nippy ones in here. This chest has a lot of useful things in it actually. Tapes, blades, pliers, an old iPad for watching films or NFL. Nothing too engaging, otherwise I just end up sat down and watching it. Router bits, commonly used screws and dowels and other things. Nuts and bolts in here, more screws, drill bits. What's in the shelving here? Keep my home brew in here. Not much at the moment. Need to do another brew. Lots of stencils. Here's my tag stencil actually, I use that quite a lot. Weird caps, more stencils, spare tape, neglected woodblock printing inks, spare vacuum filter, electronic components. A failed project that I couldn't bear to throw away. I spent ages painting lengths of triangular wood trim, with red on one side and blue on the other side. Then cutting them down, lining them up, and gluing them to this backboard, so I could then cut this figure out of them, and even place this white outline on them, so that when you looked at it from one angle, it'd look entirely blue, and from the other side, completely red. What I failed to realise is that this unpainted edge is, how do I put this, fucking ugly, and it would have taken an unreasonable amount of time to extend the red and blue out onto it, and it still would have looked bad. So here it all sits, gathering dust, whilst I tried to think of something else useful to do with it. Sorry, I got sidetracked there, a little rant. That was an annoying project. Wood samples here, spare filters for the respirator, more screws, CNC accessories like hold down clamps, and then you've got router bits and depth gauges. I use this sander a lot, drill, mini saw, corded drill. This router is only used for one thing, and that's putting keyhole slots in the back of pieces. I'm scared if I use it for something else, one day I'll set it up wrong for a keyhole slot cut and cut right through the face of a piece, completely ruining it. So I just leave it like that. This slim little shelf holds sheets of newsprint, which act as an instantly clean surface for pristine objects that need to stay pristine, or for masking off large areas. Then you've got various liquids, chemicals, wood glue, sandpaper, blah 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 blah. I think some super glue leaked here, so now this bobbin of twine is a permanent fixture. What else? This drawer's filled with filing and sanding stuff, then lots of different adhesives, then it devolves into random wank, more random wank, some more random wank. Oh yeah, we saw this earlier. Then these drawers are for keeping painted pieces clean before they're assembled or finished. Before this, I kind of had to work on one thing at a time, otherwise all the paint and wood dust would ruin everything out in the open. This is a project that you're not allowed to see yet. Okay, you get to see just a leg. to my surprise, a couple of big drawers in the workshop have been a game changer. Then underneath, more offcuts on the side. Apparently home to this spider. Okay, really don't want to squish you. Get off. Okay, you've got your own ideas. There you go. See you later. What else? There's a cyclone dust collector, very rude spindle sander, circular saw, and a router table. A little spray paint cap dispenser in easy reach, skinny banana, my favourite. I've got this air compressor and pressure pot out lately because I've been casting resin. That leg you saw earlier has to do with it. Oh yeah, and on top of this miter saw, I've got a UV lamp. No wait, that's wrong. Infrared lamp, yep. It's meant for patios mostly, I think, but I made this custom stand and it clamps on like this. Then I can lift out entire drawers, place them on top, and everything dries a lot quicker. So I'll do this with whatever I'm working on that day, during lunch, or at the end of the day, I'll put it on for a bit as well. And I think rather neatly, that's the end of the tour. That post-it note said something about packing orders, so I'm off to the loft now. But I hope you found this interesting. Thank you for watching.